A week after the public divorce of Nico Iamaleava and Tennessee, we're getting our first indication of what Tennessee is looking to do at the quarterback position, and let's talk about it. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching the #1 college football show, welcome. Thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year round. If that is something that you're into, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and like this video and answer the question in the comments below. Do you think Tennessee is going to succeed in doing what apparently they had done to TCU Josh Hoover? For those of you that missed this bit of news, the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, which covers Texas Christian, reported that Josh Hoover was asked to transfer to Tennessee for a deal that would pay him $1 million more than he is making at Texas Christian right now. If you don't watch a lot of Big 12 football, you probably don't know that Josh Hoover is one of the most prolific passers in the sport last year, threw for just short of 4,000 yards, had a tremendous season last year, like real breakout year. And Texas Christian could be up, could be down. They could be 5-7. They could end up in the national championship game. It happened, right? Like that's how it went. And they have been anything but predictable in the Sonny Dykes era, but they've always been entertaining. And when they have a quarterback, they've been good, and they've cycled through a few of them. But now that we know that Tennessee is not opposed to going into other people's rosters and saying, hey, would you like to come into the portal to get a quarterback? I was given some thought as to who they may get. Now, Steve Angeli entered the portal following Notre Dame's spring game. It seems very clear to all of us that CJ Carr is going to be their guy, if not Kenny Minchie, right? But certainly not Steve Angeli, who could come back. We'll see. But he was already being talked about as a guy that could go to Tennessee and play for them. I think, yeah, he could start, but he's a stopgap. He's not a generational talent, and he's certainly not the kind of guy that I expect to lead you to a national championship. It's year 5 for Heupel at Tennessee, and while I think that his Q rating is about as high as anybody's had it at Tennessee in a long time, you're at the point where you're supposed to have a ready-made option in case something happens with Nico Iamaleava. Not necessarily him going to the transfer portal, but if he gets hurt. They didn't have that last year with Gaston Moore, and Gaston Moore's no longer there. So I thought perhaps, if nothing else, they go into the portal and go get themselves a guy that they know they can depend on if something would happen behind them. And yeah, you're going to pay for that. You always are going to pay for an overdeveloped backup. It's one of the reasons why a grad transfer is so coveted. He could do both of those things. It's why people were talking about Will Howard and Julian Sayin until such time as Will Howard had more taken that job and made it his own. Which led me to another thought. I am really interested in Aaron Nolan and his development at South Carolina because they played their spring game and he looked like a guy that hadn't played at South Carolina for very long. Well, Lenore Sellers is a guy that Shane Beamer had been saying needed to be contending for the Heisman Trophy last year. And it feels like a 9-win South Carolina is going to be a little bit tougher this year to beat, which means they could be a 10-win South Carolina. And after what they did to Illinois, who I think might be the 4th best team in the Big Ten this year, maybe the 5th, right? But certainly up there competing for the championship, you would expect South Carolina to give more than a what, for, and how now in the SEC. Now, in Aaron Nolan, you have your quarterback of the future if you're Shane Beamer, and that's what you're going to sell him on. This is Lenore Sellers' team, and if he gets hurt, you have a guy that you think you can go to. However, Aaron Nolan is the kind of dude that has the talent to go to Tennessee and play right away, and in an offense that is built for his skill set. Perhaps you don't know that he threw for 1,000,000 yards at Langston Hughes and played in one of the toughest states for high school football in the entire country and was supposed to be competing with Julian Sayin for the starting job in 2025. So much so that Devin Brown got the hell up out of here, went to Cal. I think that's worth saying something because many people would tell you they expect Julian Sayin to be the guy at Ohio State, and the veterans who are going to the NFL going, I see it in him. I see everything I need to in a quarterback that can lead the Buckeyes into what they think is a season they can defend their national championship. If you thought that Aaron Nolan was good enough going into the Rose Bowl to be that guy, then you would think that he's good enough to play for almost anybody. And right now, Tennessee not only has a need, they have a fit. Like, that's the thing that really sent me to this direction of Josh Hoover's the kind of dude you like. Running Kendall Briles' offense. It's wide. It's spread them out. It's go fast. It's the same sort of system that Josh Heupel likes to run at Tennessee, right? They love to get vertical. They love to throw post routes, and they're best when they've got more than 2 wide receivers they can put out in patterns. Nico could only handle so much, and they were a better running team last year than I think they expected to be, quite frankly, especially given what they were able to do with Nico early in the season. And as they got deeper into SEC competition, they got their first dose of good SEC defense from Oklahoma. It became a Dylan Sampson engine that powered that team. But Josh Heupel would love to have a guy like Hendon Hooker who can make all those throws that he needs to make and keep them going. If they need to go tempo, they go tempo. If warp speed is going to get it done, they can get it done. I think Aaron Nolan gives you that opportunity because the dude's got a very quick trigger. He is accurate with the ball, and he has the eligibility you want, which is to say he could play another 3 years for you if it works out. So I wanted to do this because I think Steve Angeli is the guy you can get, but certainly not the guy they want, right? Because they already made this offer to a Texas Christian cat. And if you go through the prolific passers in 2024 that are returning, you don't go too far before you get to see guys that have already changed schools, right? Like Malik Murphy going from Duke to Oregon State, Billy Edwards going from Maryland to Wisconsin, Joey Aguilar going from Appalachian State to UCLA, to say nothing of whether or not Nico Iamaleava actually ends up at UCLA. And as the portal closes on Friday, we're going to find out some things, but I think it's worth saying out loud that Josh Hoover got offered $1 million more than he was going to get paid at Texas Christian, which to me says $2 million, and probably get to save $1 million if you are Tennessee on a quarterback that probably wasn't already doing what you wanted him to do. Like, there's many people at Tennessee that would tell you even before the portal, before Nico Iamaleava sat out their practice, that he wasn't really as good as they expected. And I was even asking that question in January. Is he a top 10 quarterback? Some would say barely. Some would say no. Is Josh Hoover a top 10 quarterback? Some would say barely. Some would say no. It all is relative, right? Playing in the SEC is not playing in the Big 12. We get that. But if you're going to go get a guy, and you want to go get a guy that perhaps hasn't had an opportunity to showcase and you can grow with him, Aaron Nolan's over there at South Carolina. Now, I don't know that he would go back into the portal, and I don't really see a reason as to why he would want to, as long as things are going the way that I think they are, which is you're getting along with the head coach, you're getting to know the offense, and you're sitting behind Lenoris waiting on your opportunity. But I am not going to act as if Tennessee is not a step up from South Carolina. I'm not gonna do that. That's asinine. That's ridiculous. It's stupid. There's a number of reasons why I would be more interested in going to Tennessee than I would to South Carolina, but not the least of which is, hey, who made the playoff last year? And when it became a pageant contest, who got the benefit of the doubt? It wasn't South Carolina. It was Tennessee. And if you're coming from Ohio State as a quarterback, you've already got that in your pocket. Ryan Day has already said to anybody that would listen, we think that dude's really good. I don't think they wanted to see him go to the portal in the first place. If he could come out at a place where he gets to play right away and can perhaps bring Tennessee back to the playoff and perhaps win a game. I mean, think about it this way. If Aaron Nolan is the starting quarterback for Tennessee and they get to play Ohio State at Neyland, who are you going to pick? Answer that in the comments below.